So we are welcoming you to be part of this local community and a global connected ecosystem. So we're building our community of entrepreneurs. So once again, I will say thank you for coming and welcome to the first edition of the Entrepreneurs of Every Kind. Please give yourself a round of applause. I would like to pass the mic so we start the program officially. So, like I said, I've introduced myself. I am Okbayemi Salako. So, I will start from this end. Just tell us your name, what you do, and you pass the mic to the other person. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
What do you do?
I'm a business developer.
Okay. So, you can add the name of your organization or what you do.
I work on the Apache. My name is Ubuna. I'm a copper actually. I'm copper. Okay, and I work under him.
Good evening, everyone. My name is sorry, I can't stand. My name is ID Freeman. I'm co-founder of Capsule Technology. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Wani Esther, and
the CEO and MD of Dengue IT Solution Services Limited.
And then, here we go to the boss.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amza. I'm a co-founder at Cyber Plural. We provide managed security services to startup and businesses. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Afis. I'm wedding fabrication.
Opportunities. Good to be here. You're really African talent with global opportunity. So now we can see that we have entrepreneurs from different walks of life, for different industry. We have tech, we have social innovators. So thank you all for coming today. And once again, I say welcome to Impact Up and to the first edition of the Entrepreneurs of All Kind. Please, ladies and gentlemen, you can do us the honor and give yourself a round of applause. Thank you so much. All right, so as you know, we have today we have a host and we also have a guest in the house. We're expecting to drink from the well of a serial entrepreneur in person of Ambassador IC Balami. Shortly, he will join us and we'll have one-on-one interaction with him when the host engages, and we have the opportunity to ask him questions. You understand? So at the peak of what we're doing at Impact Up is that we are building a community of entrepreneurs in Abuja metro areas. So when we come together, what we do is we share idea, and then we share idea, and we look at how we can scale your business, we can accelerate our business. So at this point, once again, I'll ask that you give yourself a round of applause. So at this junction, ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not busy, I would like to stage the host of today's show, of the first Entrepreneurs of Income. Please give a round of applause for Miss Foye. Please do that better. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Foye, Mufoyeke Omole. I'm a management consultant, and I also run a non-profit. At the non-profit, we work at accelerating socio-economic inclusion for young people. I'm also an entrepreneur. I think I have under my belt a few enterprises that are thriving. So I'm happy to be here tonight, this evening, and I'm looking forward to, you know, engaging conversations with our guests and with all of us. So, once again, you're welcome. I think we can bring up our guest now, right? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so I'm ready for that. So while we wait for, you know, engage, I want one or two persons here. I don't want to be forced to pick, but we're all here today because we want to learn. But I want to know specifically what you intend to gain from this session today. It, are you looking forward to learning today? One or two persons.
So to answer our question, so I would like to pass the mic to anyone. Like, just tell us one thing you are actually willing to gain from today's section.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, so by virtue of the name, entrepreneurs of every kind, like, well, basically, I'm basically here to learn. That's it, and then obviously to learn how to better myself, my business, and then how to make money if different from what I'm doing already, to know how to improve what I'm currently working on, and then probably get to network and learn from a lot of other people doing the same or similar things. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that insight. Any other person? Or I just pass the mic. Oh, thank you.
All right. I'm actually here to listen to other people talk. I want to learn how they reacted to failing when they actually started, because I know that when you're starting a business, you sometimes feel like you should give up. So that stage, I really want to hear about it and what they did to actually overcome. And I'm also here to meet other entrepreneurs. Thank you.
That was impressive. From your highlights, you want to learn and you want to network with other entrepreneurs. So I know some other people want to ask a question, but I'll pass the mic to, let me give the mic to you.
All right. Thank you once again. The reason why I'm here this evening is for me to meet with other people. I believe that to make money, there are different ways and approach to it. And if you have one formula, it is good you come to this type of event to see whether you discover other formulas. Yeah, that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Talking about formula, so you want to know what works and what doesn't. So when you learn from other entrepreneurs, you know that, okay, I think I can adopt these and I cannot. So is there any other person that would like to answer our host question? Why am I feeling I should give the mic to you?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Once again. Okay, I was actually invited by the guest speaker.
Yeah. Talking about doing big things. So it just starts with just a single conversation and identifying a problem, and then you come together to, that's what we call it, entrepreneur for, you see, we have championing change. So we are a community of change makers. Please, a big round of applause for yourself. Thank you. I think for us to be fair, we should give more rooms for other people to answer the question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm here to learn and how to go about how other people go about their business and how they make more profit from it, so that I can also incorporate it in my business.
So from the answers, it's more like, and something is standing out there. Everyone is here to learn, and we are looking at how to scale our business. So that is very important thing to identify in in a gathering like this. So we've done more on this side. So let me bring the mic to this place.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rex again. As a tech entrepreneur in an event like this, I'm actually here for networking and to actually listen to those who are actually ready to build um, tech-related solution or adding tech to their line of business, because apparently that's where the world is going to. So how many persons are ready to do that um, in a nation like this? For us to be great, we have to move towards that route. I mean, tech with the entrepreneurship will go further in terms of scalability for us to equally add value to nation GDP and so.
Please give me a round of applause. So I can say he's talking about the future of work and how many people are ready to position and prepare for the future of work, and how technology, talking about artificial intelligence and the rest, can help us to scale our business and prepare us for the future of work. So I think we see a few people who might still want to answer. So I give it to Honorable.
Actually, for me, I am here to just network as usual and also learn from others.
Good evening, everyone. I'm also here to learn, to open to more new ideas and to connect with people. So I know people that are here, they are one of the best or best of the best among the best. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, so thank you. Please, a round of applause for him. So we talked about what we
No, continue.
so what we want to learn from this. So before that, I have a question, and the question is like, it goes this way to say, can you share with us the current challenges or the problem you're trying to solve in your own business? Would you like to share with us? So probably it's one of the highlights for the host, so we can look at it together to address it. So is there anybody that wants to just drop that? I think you have a business, right? Can you tell us what you're currently facing?
All right. I think for now, and we are in a transition stage at which we are incorporating technology to our business. How that I'm into printing. Into printing, and what we do now is we are looking at how people can print from online. In the sense that you go online on the platform, you upload your job, we print it and get it delivered to you without you coming to our office. So that's the stage at which we are on. And we are working on how to achieve it.
That's a great innovation, and I know that one of the best way to do this is to adopt strategies that are very realistic, and you look at your smart goals. But then, it's more like we all are talking about digital inclusion in our business. I can pick from the fact that you mentioned how you can render service for your customer base. I don't know if you have a customer base already without them coming to your office. And that's a great one, but I think it's something that is doable in as much that you can think it. So a round of applause for him. Someone mentioned that his company is building a software kind of thing. Am I right? Ooh. Yeah. Okay, so I want to know, what problem are you facing in your business? Or challenges? Let me use the word problem.
It's everybody's problem, money. All right. Yes. Okay, so basically, for me, one of the major. The problem we are solving as a company, okay. So the problem we are solving is the ease of accessibility to get talent from Nigeria and Africa at large. So we are starting with Nigeria. So if for you to hire talent in Nigeria, it will usually take between 5 to 2 months, 5 days to 2 months averagely for you to find the kind of talent you need. But then we can see that in dating, for example, that in relationships, we can go to Tinder and in 1 minute find the kind of person you are looking for. So why can we not have something like Tinder for jobs here in Nigeria, where it's just easy for you to find almost the exact kind of person you are looking for? So that's what we are solving. And the challenge for us currently is mostly funding, but we are trying to start at the level where we are, just building, and then, but we understand that for us to get to where we need to get to, we need funding, and I hope that today's session will help us understand how we can get funding. Thank you.
Thank you. So when we talk about startup, particularly in this part of the world, funding has always been the major thing. And I want to believe that our host and the guest for today will be able to talk about funding. I was able to scale business. But more to that is why we Impact Hub is here, because Impact Hub is an innovative ecosystem that help startups and businesses to scale their business. So, and maybe we are working on a project like that, whereby we can help you we can address the problem of funding and how you can get funding, how you can access investors and the rest, because all of these are just strategies and procedure to go. But it's a good one that we're learning from it. And talking about Tinder for job, that's that's an innovative one. You know, you have to say I'm targeting Gen Z. You have to say what we sell the market, what to move the market. So if you have Tinder for job, I think with that name alone, we sell your market. All right. So without wasting much of our time, please let's give a round of applause to our host, and then right about now we move straight to the business of the day. And thank you for a.
One second. Can I interrupt you for a quick second? Sir, sorry. Can you? I think both of your mics are not. No, both of your mics are not working. So you want to? Let's no. Go. Just yeah. You want to go and confirm? Yeah.
I'm the Group CEO of 7-Star Global Hangar and 7-Star Global Airline. 7-Star Global Hangar is the first independent aircraft maintenance, repair and overhaul facility across the entire West and Central Africa. And 7-Star Airline deals with luxury premium service, helicopters and private jets. For now, hopefully we'll go into wide bodies in the future. But aside aviation, I also have passion for, I would say, I'm an activist. So I'm former president of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers in Nigeria. I was the president for 8 years. I stepped aside 9 years ago to focus more on my business. I also I'm the former president of Arewa Consultative Forum Youth Congress. I was also the national spokesperson for the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, TUC. I was representing senior workers between level 8 to level 17 in public and private sector. I've done a couple of stops with my NGO, non-profits. I have the Balami Foundation for the past 20 years, right when I was in Abuja Aviation College till date. We've been supporting women and children, and today we have been able to provide shelter, education, feeding, healthcare for 513 children across Nigeria. I can go on and on, but I think let me just stop here.
Thank you very much. Yeah. You see why I said I couldn't have done justice to his introduction.
Yeah.
So having said all of this, you know, I listened rapidly to all that you've been able to do, and that got me really curious.
Yeah.
I'm very, very curious, and I'm sure that we're all, you know, on the same page. We want to know your story as an entrepreneur. How did it start? What's your story? I mean, why have you been able to get yourself involved in all of this? Just the story. How did it start? How did it begin?
Okay. My story started a few years ago. I was just 11 years old in Maiduguri, Borno State, and where I had to work in Maiduguri timber shades. And I was able to raise enough fund, about 1,200 naira then I saved in 9 months to pay my school fees into JSS1.
Oh, wow.
And the kind of school I wanted to go to, my parents couldn't afford it, so I had to go extra miles to prove to them that I'm that committed to add to what they were able to give to me. So basically, I would say I started pretty young. I did child labor. I think that's what they actually call it on technically. But I was so happy I wasn't forced into it. And I was making money for myself, and I was pretty happy. I used to evacuate sewages, what we call sockaway. Growing up, I used to do what we call in Hausa language, nomankudi or barema. It means you earn living by going to farm, you know, or to cut grasses, to weed in people's farm. I have, so those things actually built me up. So in school in Abuja area, one day I could remember clearly when they used to talk about, I mean, there's just this slogan that we used to say, it is well, even in the well. Because that time we'll be soaking gari with salt.
Oh, wow.
But we know that we'll graduate one day and we'll become somebody, and we'll be like, it is well, then he'll say, even in the well. And I said, since we love this slogan, I think I can see an opportunity in there. So I went to PZ and I printed stickers, blue and red color. And I wrote, it is well, even in the well. I started with about 7,000 naira. And when I sold the sticker, I made 70,000 in 2 weeks. I said,
Oh, wow.
And that time in Abuja area, 5,000 naira is enough to give you breakfast, lunch, dinner, transport every month. So that was how I started as an entrepreneur, by, you know, being able to identify, you know, a particular problem and its solution, because people just had to go, you know, so people were pushing that sticker on their laptops, on their doors, and I was just making money. Before I knew it, I went into producing church stickers. Any Bible verse that is very, very sweet, I'll just print it and go and sell it. And that was it. You know, it got to a point whereby I wanted to own a restaurant, but it was expensive to, you know, pay for rent and pay the staffs and buy all the kitchen utensils and everything. So what I did was, I went to people that actually own a restaurant, and I said, please, if I can sell every plate, if I can supply workers in banks, how much will I make? And they said, for every 300 naira, you can make X amount. And I saw myself selling 100 to 200 plates every day, and I didn't own a restaurant, and I was making money from it. I think we see it now with what Uber food.
Yeah.
Jumia delivery are doing. I was doing that a long time ago.
Wow.
But just as an individual, bought an Okada, a small bike at that time, had my own first car while I was still on campus. So these things actually shaped me. Today, I have founded about 7 companies. And 7 is a number that is dear to me. It's a number of perfection for those who know what I'm saying. as a Christian, the number 7 is because that was the day that God actually rested after creation, when He finished everything. So they're all called 7-Star Global, except for the 8th one now that is also a non-profit, and by the grace of God, it has been completed and approved by the National Universities Commission, awaiting announcement by the President in the next couple of weeks as a full-fledged university called the Balami University. So it's a university for aeronautical engineers, aviation leaders, and pilots, and so on and so forth.
Awesome.
It will take place in Lagos, or it will be in Lagos.
Lagos, okay.
Basically, as an entrepreneur, it's been crazy. Because I left Aero Contractors with just $2,000 to start 7-Star Global Group. And for the first 3-4 years, I couldn't even afford to pay an office rent in any part of the airport. So with my little knowledge in aerospace, been to the US, licensed aircraft engineer, and so on and so forth, being the pilot president, working with so many airlines, with that kind of experience that I had, I was then able to use the small money I had with my team, and we built the aircraft manuals. And one of my car, I can't forget that car, Ford Focus, white. The boot was my office. So whenever you open the boot, you just see aircraft manuals, 17 aircraft manuals. Operations, maintenance, quality, everything. Store, workshop, and so on and so forth. It was in there. And after some years, the manual expired. The Civil Aviation Authority asked me to write a new one. I wrote it again, put it in the boot.
Wow.
So whenever I open the boot, it reminds me that one day I will be able to pay the rent. I will be able to own my own hangar, and I will be able to have my own aircraft. Without any godfather, except God the Father, without any bank loan. Today with my team, we've built from $2,000, now we are hitting $200 million US in value. And if you want to wait for the government,
You won't do anything.
you won't do anything. So we just kept on pushing. For every point in time, we build something, and we have something to show family members, friends, partners, associates, and people were able to believe, because it takes time. Even your father, your mom, you need to prove to them that you are serious. You need to show them that you know what you're actually doing. So over time, we were able to convince people around us that we know what we're doing. And one day, somebody just met me and said, I want to buy 10% of your business, so many years ago. I said, my business, that time there was no evaluation, nothing, just CAC 1 million share capital. I said, sir, my business is worth $10 million. If you want 10%, it's $1 million. I was shocked. The man took me to the bank that day and gave me $1 million. Why? Because we've been able to build that equity, that currency called trust. And all he needed to do was, before he came to me, he took his phone and called 2 people from Kaduna Airport, called 3 people from Lagos Airport, and some people from Abuja Airport. I said, this boy said he has been in Aero Contractors, he was a director in Aero, and he was pilot president. Please, can I know more about him? And he spoke to 7 people and no negative comment about me. So he didn't tell me, he told me years later why he gave me that money, because I was shocked. He just took me to the bank, nothing, and transferred the money to my account. And I made sure that money didn't make me run mad. I lost friends that felt that money should be used to buy Range Rover, expensive cars, but I never did that. I still kept my old car. We kept investing, bought aircraft equipment, it paid for all our authorizations, specification, everything. And today this is where we are. So I think let me just stop there. I know you have so many questions for me.
Yeah, I do have a lot of questions, but
Okay.
but what struck me from his story is the fact that oftentimes when we say we want to start enterprises, we would say, oh, look at the needs, human needs, shelter, food, housing, all of these things.
But from me's own story, I could see that your business started with the business of hope, right? You had that, it is well, even in the well. You had the vision, but what you sold first was hope. So which means that as individuals, as entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, little things that we may, think that will not give us the good foundation that we need to become the conglomerate or whatever it is that we want to become, that we overlook could actually be the thing that will launch us into what we want to be. Because if you had not succeeded in, there's something that I always say, if you have 10 ideas to launch, if you launch one and you succeed in that one, you will be gingered to succeed in the others. That's what I could learn, from your story. And another thing, I pay attention to what people say a lot. When he was talking about people, the person who gave him the money, referencing, calling people to find out who he is, he mentioned the number 7. He said he spoke to 7 people.
Yeah, actually, incidentally, right?
No, that's why I said I pay attention to what people say.
True. That's what
he had said that 7 is, a strategic number for him. And it is also coincidental that the references he needed to scale to that level is also 7, which also tells me something. Most of us as entrepreneurs, we are not sensitive enough to know what works in our lives. So we just feel like, oh, the government, the environment, there are other, salient things, that determine how far we will actually, grow. So this is me saying that irrespective of what religion you belong to, there's always this anchor in faith that pushes us in our businesses. So I just want us to, have that at the back of our minds as we continue this conversation. Again, congratulations on all your endeavors, and we're looking forward to see the exploits that your university would make. So this question, I'm sure, is why some of us are also here today. You've had this number of years of experience in entrepreneurship in business, both for-profit and non-profit. What would you say are your top 3 challenges, or what would you say, let's not even say it to you, let me not direct it to you per se. Let me ask, if you look at the ecosystem in Nigeria, the business environment, what would you say are the top 3 problems or challenges facing entrepreneurship?
Okay, please, can I just plead with our people in the control room to just keep the discussion is a bit high for me from that side, so I will appreciate a little bit of silence. The challenges are much, but let me see how I can narrow it down. First of all, for an entrepreneur in Nigeria or Africa, it's a crime and an offense to have a dream.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
People hate you because you have a dream. And I'm talking about family members, friends, and even political class. Yeah. You come up now and you say, you want to be, or you want to own the best hospital in Nigeria. That alone is provoking and annoying people.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one thing, the issue of our culture. As a nation and as a continent, at least I've been privileged. I school overseas, I school in the US, I did my master's in UK. I'm a resident of the UK. I'm doing my PhD now, wrapping up in US. I've been around the world, different continents, attending conferences, and so on and so forth. And I can tell you that it is different for other continents. I know of, and let me be very, very honest, I have a cousin brother called Nathaniel Zoka. When we were in Abu Zaria, or when we were much, much younger, 2001, 2002, what Facebook is doing today, he had that vision. Clearly, he wrote it.
Wow.
How to connect people around the world and everything. He was talking about the world, then the globe. Not even the way Mark Zuckerberg started from a school to speak. No. I think Facebook came live around 06, 07.
04?
04. So 0102, that idea existed. Do you know how many Instagram, how many IG, X, Twitter, how many Facebook, you know, Snapchat, this continent have killed? So in the first place, we are in a place where your idea is not welcome. The bank cannot fund you because they will not take any risk. When they push you to get collateral and you get the collateral, they say they want to see your 6-month account statement. When you struggle to build a reasonable inflow for 6 months, they say they want to see your 3 years annual returns. So it means you will never start as far as you are in this part of the world. So the only way is just to find a way to talk to family and friends and start small and crawl and find. Meanwhile, while you are doing that, whenever God drops an idea, he doesn't drop it to only one person. While you are doing what we call smeh, somebody has moved on with the idea and is only running with it. So that is one challenge. The fact that you can't even get moral support most times.
It's a challenge.
Morally, young entrepreneurs in Nigeria or Africa are not encouraged by even family and friends, including church members and mosque members. So that has to change, and it has to do with our culture. So we must have this I can do spirit. I mean, I sent a video to a friend and a couple of people last week of how Nigerian Airways 35 years ago by Captain Augustine Okon landed in America with a Boeing 747 double-decker. That time, not Emirates, not Qatar, not Etihad, not Ethiopia, not Egypt Air, not South African Airways had about 27 to 30 aircraft like Nigerian Airways.
Wow.
So for me, we were once called the giant of Africa. And truly we were. Today are we? No. So it is this same spirit of kill him, pull her down syndrome, pull him down syndrome. Even as I speak to you here now, with my achievement, even with what I've been able to achieve, there are people that will sit down and I get, people just send me voice note of what is happening, what people are even discussing, about me. Or people that are planning how to make sure I don't get business or I don't succeed. With evidence, I have it. And these same people will come and smile at me. So that is the issue with Nigeria, first of all. And it's not only me, it's in every sector, it's in every household, it's in every community. So until as a nation, we can get away with that. And that's why, Freeman is here. We founded the Nigerian Rebirth Foundation, where we could put new DNA, that is new desire, needs, and aspiration in our children, from age 3 to age 15, I think. And we brought about 1,000 of them up and honored them at the Presidential Banquet Hall 2016. Non-political, we had 18 governors' wives, APC, PDP, ABGA, 66 nations, ambassadors seated. 68 ambassadors seated. That same vision was killed by the same last administration.
Wow.
Why? Why is it Balami that is actually leading it? Why is it this boy that's leading it? And the fight I faced came from the presidency. I lost everything just because I had a dream. And the president's wife was happy. She endorsed it. She was the grand patron. They gave us the Presidential Banquet Hall to launch it. We had a big, massive artwork. We had 37 artists from each state and FCT spending 100 days at the Unity Fountain to paint Nigeria, from Herbert Macaulay, all our heads of state, and talk about the rebirth of a new nation. Excellent idea. The entire international community were in love with it. They were going to support it. We had the presidential endorsement to travel to 20 countries of the world and even speak to our sons and daughters in the diaspora to key into the new DNA, the new Nigerian culture. But the same Nigerians, it took us 2 years to recover from debt after doing that event at the Presidential Banquet Hall.
Wow.
I'm giving you core content, real life content. And I don't care, it can go on air.
Of course.
Because people need to know why this country is being suffocated, oppressed, suppressed, and depressed. So nothing you have. People will always be there to want to fight you. If you are lucky, out of 10, 1 will encourage you. 9 will make sure you don't succeed. In fact, some will pay money to make sure you don't succeed. Then as an entrepreneur, it's also an issue of class. There are sectors where some people feel it is only a particular tribe or religion that can be there. So I have dealt with issue of tribalism, nepotism, you know, I've seen it all. As a Christian, I've seen good Muslims that have been there for me, stood people like late Alhaji Ibrahim Kumasi, the former Sardona of Katsina. He was a father to all of us. He doesn't care what is your tribe. I've taken Igbos, Yoruba to him. He wouldn't even ask them. He will do what we went for. He will never ask for it, but I've seen people that will even say you must change religion before they will even help you. And today, where are we? Where are we as a nation today? I tell people, I say, whether you like it or not today, is Lagos not one of the most advanced states? Lagos on its own is a nation, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the 5th or 6th largest economy in Africa itself, which means aside Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, Kenya, Algeria, Lagos is 5th. But go and check the leaders of Lagos. They care about what you can deliver, not who is your father. Who has ever asked who is the father of President Asiwaju or Fashola or Ambode or Sanwo-Olu? Who is his father? If you can deliver, they allow you to deliver. Look at the president that we have today. He's a Muslim. His son, Sheyi Tinubu, Christian. His other son, Yinka, Muslim. His wife, pastor. Look at Fashola. Look at Fashola, his wife, Christian. Look at Femi Bajamila, his wife, Christian. Even Saraki, his wife, Christian. They don't care. But go to other regions that care about religion and tribe. See where they are. Look at their GDP as a state. So we need to demystify this rubbish. Look at Dubai. The king of Dubai built a church for the Catholic. Is there? Abi? Yes. The whole world goes to Dubai. Today, Dubai is a hub. Dubai that came to loan money from Nigeria so many years ago. So you see, these are issues. These are major issues that is eating into us, but nobody wants to talk about it. It's our major problem. Today, you know somebody who can actually make sure that within 18 months, even with the current existing budget, he or she can introduce a technology to make sure no pothole on our major highways. But that person will never be given a chance.
Absolutely.
Why? Because of those conditions. So the day you begin to stop this mediocrity and you begin to think without the box, things will change.
Wow.
Things will actually change.
Thank you very much. I'm quite happy with this conversation we're having because we're not just talking about the generic issues facing entrepreneurship in Nigeria. We already know some of them, funding and all of that. And now you mentioned something, and this made me, recollect what happened to us in 2018. In 2018, we had laid our hands on a report, a FINA report about financial inclusion in Nigeria. So we developed a proposal, and we went to the CBN, and we went to the vice president of the last administration, and we went there. We had a series of conversations, and they were like, okay, go through this next step, include these give us more activities. We came up with an expanded proposal, just like a blueprint, and we took it to them. After we took it to them, people who had been chasing us to say, what's next, we now started chasing them. No appointments, nothing, all of this. But the kicker for me was that just a year after we had completed all the activities that needs to be done, we had given you the blueprint, we started seeing implementation of the blueprint that we gave to them. Right.
Welcome to Nigeria.
That is another thing. And now, sometimes we will take answer. When I have conversation with startups, this is what I tell them. Ideas are 1 million a dime. Like, you can have ideas. And so you shouldn't shy away from sharing your idea. Guide your idea to an extent, but don't shy away from, sharing your ideas. And, you know, when we reached back to them to say that we identified these resource persons from these countries, you are told us that this, you're still working on it, you're still having conversations around it, the president has not approved. And we said, verbatim, what we have in our proposal is what you are implementing. In fact, top government officials were out there implementing the things, taking glory for the things that we came up with. And so that told me one thing. I said, this is not going to stop us from coming up with innovative solutions. This is just telling us that our ideas are valid. Yeah. And if the end game for us is to see more people benefit from these initiatives that we're coming up with, if you hijack it, so far the end game is being realized. We're happy with it. So this is also to, you know, buttress what is said. If you wait for the government, you won't be able to actually do anything. It's either they kill your ideas or they hijack your ideas. So having said all of this, these are challenges. And honestly speaking, I hate talking about challenges. So now I want to come to you to say, we have this myriad of challenges, some in our faces, others, you know, subtle. But I want to believe that these challenges also present us with opportunities. So because for every chaos, if someone causes a chaos, someone has to come and clean it up. The person cleaning it up, you know, is leveraging an opportunity that has presented itself. So I would say from your experience and from these, you know, challenges that you've shared with us, what would you consider your top 3 opportunities for, not this time, not for entrepreneurs, but for entrepreneurship in Nigeria? What would be your top 3 opportunities?
That's a very, very wide question.
It is.
But you see, for me, you can't give what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with, and I'm going to deviate a little bit. You see, an average youth today, I see even a copper, somebody doing IT. What do you want to be when you grow up? Or what do you want to do? What do you want to focus on? Oh, I want to own an NGO. It's good that you have that humanitarian, that empathy, but you've not even started working. You haven't even sorted yourself out. You want to go and help others. Can you give what you don't have? Another area also is an area of being able to do what you are good at.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say 3 opportunities, there's no sector, no industry, that there's no opportunity. It depends on how you have conditioned your mind. Then there are also some people that are not called to be the head.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm here now, if one of my kidneys is bad or I'm on dialysis, can I be here?
No.
If I have heart issues, will I be here?
Absolutely no.
If even my major vein that is carrying blood out of my heart to other part of my body has been clogged, will I be here? No. As I'm here now, if I cannot see, will I be able to see you people? If I'm blind, I can't see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, if I have mental issues, there's something wrong with my brain. I cannot sit here and speak. The issue is every youth I've come across in the last 10 years want to be the MD of his organization or of her organization. In other words, you just want to be the face or the head. Then who is going to be the liver and the kidney of the system? Who will be the legs? Who will be the hands? So I think we need to sit down and rethink. I think it's because most young people don't even know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that have been called to serve presidents, serve governors, and they are gifted in that. The day they become a commissioner, they'll be destroyed. But if you say because you don't want to stay in that your ministry, that's your gift, and you must become a governor, you will destroy your life. There are people that have been called to become governors, ambassadors. I just found that because our orphanage in Abuja, this year, I think we shared about 300 chickens as a gift to family and friends from the orphanage. So we realized that if you give my orphanage 1,000 birds, if any will die, maybe 1 or 2. And the cost of producing 1,000 of rearing 1,000 birds with the feeding and including buying it from Otter Farm in Ogun State, cost of transportation and feeding these birds for 6 to 8 weeks is not up to 3 million naira. And if you have 1,000 birds, during Christmas we sold for 25,000 or 30,000. But it's an average of 15,000 now, right? If you spend 3 million and in 8 weeks you have 15 million, or let's even say some died, some dies and maybe 10% lost, you are still around 13 million, right? Plus. How many percent is that? Yeah? 400% in 8 weeks. There are people that are that gifted. Nothing dies in their hands. But they have refused to discover it. They want to go and be doing Uber. Meanwhile, they can buy 5 goats, 5 cows, 50 chickens and start with. And in 1 year, they'll become millionaires. But they'll distract their life for the next, they'll just be gallivanting all over the country, disturbing people. So you need to know what is your calling, what are you good at. There are people, Freeman is there. If Freeman writes any proposal for you, excellent. The day he decided to be a consultant, now he's consulting for UN agencies, he's doing very well. You need to know what you are good at. If Freeman writes speech for me, right from time, I don't need to read it, I can read it on the stage. I can trust him to that level. He's gifted. I've seen people that have PhD. There are professors around me. When they write speech for me, I can't even read it. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not their calling, but they're expert in that area of theirs. So for me, and that's why I'm not trying to demystify your question. I'm just trying to say that, who are you? What is your calling? What is your vision? What do you have passion for? What is that one thing that you can do for free? And you are happy, even if you are not being paid. If you can package that thing, like me, I'm a good marketer. And I found out a long time ago. I discovered at an early age, in my early 20s. So I went to Aero Contractors Airline. As a junior staff, they lost a major contract. 6 helicopters and 2 jets. Major oil and gas contract. And it was going to affect over 400 staffs to be laid off. I entered Abuja, went everywhere. I got the contract back. If it's to enter places and get things done, it's a calling. But if you say, let me sit down in the office and give me 500 pages to read, you are stressing me. But there are people that will sit down on the computer until when it's time for lunch. They are glued to their system. So you must know who you are. And once you discover who you are, there's no sector, industry that is not viable, that is not good. So for me, I think I'll keep it at that.
Okay, thank you very much. And this is what I'm going to say to what he has said. First, 2 things. Take home for all of us, or for those of us who have not actually discovered who we are. I found out that in this part of the world, it's like sitting down to really, audit yourself is an issue. Like we run away from it. It's like someone is putting a gun.
What your strengths and your weaknesses are.
It's like someone is putting a gun to your head. Most of us are not able to sit down and honestly audit our capabilities, to say, what are the values that I can provide to people? Have you ever sat down to ask yourself, what do people come to me for? Because that's your currency. It is what, if your friends always come to you for advice, maybe you have a gift to provide advisory services. And now if you delve into it more, it could be that you have the gift to be a life coach or something, or you even have the gift to be an advisor to organizations. But we run away from, because maybe we are scared of what we will discover. But until you are able to honestly audit yourself to say, this is the bad, this is the good. Because if you don't even know the bad, you won't know what to do to overcome the bad. So thank you for that perspective. I really, really, appreciate that perspective. So take home for all of us. Go sit down in a quiet place. Just, reflect about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Your weaknesses are not disadvantages. there are opportunities for you to further strengthen yourself. So I would want us to go home, and do that as entrepreneurs. You may even discover after, doing your self-audits that the enterprise you're going into now or that you currently run, maybe one of the reasons it's not succeeding is because you're not gifted in that area. And then you're able to, retrace your steps. So the next question for me, and this is, I would say, when I saw this question, I was quite happy because this is where I work. This is where I program. Unemployment is, where I program. And, every day we are faced with daunting statistics of unemployment in Nigeria. Trust me, what NBS pushes out there is not even nearly, capturing the staggering reality of unemployment in Nigeria. And that is just unemployment. We also have underemployment. You have PhD holders who are Okada riders because they've not been able to get jobs or something. That is underemployment. If you, sum the two together, you will be so scared of, the future of youth in Nigeria. So, but I also see that entrepreneurship can also be an avenue to reduce, unemployment in Nigeria. But it appears that we are, approaching it in a redundant way, so to speak. We're not approaching it in a way that would give us the substantive results that we're looking for. So I want to ask you, how do you think entrepreneurship can be, part of the whole solution to youth unemployment in Nigeria?
Well, you see, if the entrepreneurs survive, there will be job creation. Let me give you a typical example. Sorry?
No, it's just me.
In 2020, COVID came in first quarter, right? And the airport was shut down. All our aircraft packed. And nothing was happening. I only spent 3 days at home during lockdown. And I was on the street until the lockdown was over. What was I doing? The moment the lockdown came, initially when before the lockdown, people were already wearing face masks. There was this fair in town. And my daughter, she was pretty young, I think 12, 13 years or so. Because my wife is a fashionista, she's a fashion designer. So my daughter learned how to sew. So I could remember at that age she was sewing her school uniform. But she would cut it with scissors and sew it. So she made face masks for me. And when I went out, everybody, wow, beautiful, where did you get it? I said, my daughter. Then my neighbors ordered for 1 dozen, 2 dozen. Before you know, I said, okay, if that's the case, let us turn this into something that is going to help the country. I went in, I bought the first 40 industrial sewing machines. By the time I finished installing it, because we had space in the hangar, aircraft stores, everything, spare parts stores. From Yaba and Suliri, the information went that one Balami came and bought machine when he was looking for tailors. There were over 400 tailors, or 300 and something tailors or so, waiting in the airport at my gate. So I said, guys, we went and bought Makit, this event center. I went myself, I bought it that same day, and bought additional 200 and something industrial sewing machines. And in few weeks, we put a platform with wood, bought brand new 10 tons air condition, bought, was it a 70 or how many kVA generator? And the Makit was installed. And within 4 weeks, we had 500 industrial sewing machines in 3 locations.
Wow.
And I was making 100,000 face masks every day. But I learned something from it. The entire investment, because one machine was even less than 100K then. Now it's about 200-300K.
Yeah.
That time it was about, I think, 70K or 120K or so. So the entire investment of 500 industrial sewing machines, buying the fabric, installing the entire Makit, doing everything, we did not spend up to 300 million naira.
Wow.
But yet, that time, 2020, The minimum wage was 30K a month. The lowest and the slowest, because I was paying them per one face mask that they produce. We'll cut it for them, cut the band for them, and give them thread, and they sew themselves. So we'll pay you per one. A 22-year-old boy from Ogun State, with only WAEC, couldn't further his education, was making 220K a month.
Wow.
And I was feeding them twice a day, free of charge. And they had place to sleep. Now, let me just give you the whole gist now. it's very, very funny, because the same government now say that we should use locally made in Nigeria what? It was all over the news. I now took about 100,000 face masks, branded it to different ministries, presidency, even the committee on COVID-19, sent them bunch that they used. The villa was using my face masks. The office of this, office of that was using the face masks. I turned my back. Aside, when the airlines started flying, airlines were buying from us. The Civil Aviation Federal Airport Authority was buying. I turned back one day. We had millions of face masks that the government that promised they would buy from us did not buy. And I lost all that money. And I paid every staff, but I got nothing. From it. Why? Because you have a system where we're not talk and do. It wasn't just only me. I could remember that time, even Cross River had this big factory. The government wasn't buying from them. They produce. Yet the government were importing from China, buying and taking to IDP camps for free, but they will not buy from us to create that jobs. And so all those tailors have lost their jobs. We were running 2 shifts for your information, 1,000 tailors, 2 shifts on 500 machines. Nobody was any less than 70K a month. We even got a land to expand into 5,000 machines, because we're now doing uniforms for pilots, air hostess, and so on and so forth. Churches were coming for us to sew uniforms for them. But now, the system killed the business. If we had 5,000 machines by now, 2 shifts, we're going to build an estate for them, swimming pool, and school for even their kids, build a whole community. We even bought an aircraft that will even export these things, because we have an airline. But the system will not work. So you see, for me, no matter where you go to, until we come back and solve this issue of our culture, because I believe that if my father was a minister in 2020, or he was an MD of an agency, they will have bought from me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if I belong to the family of former this or former that, they will have, a phone call will have gone through. So until you get to that point, for me, anywhere you go to, I'll bring you back to the same place. We have issue with culture. I have not given up. I kept moving on, pushing on. The factory is still there. Even now, there's a job going on. But are we able to scale up and create that jobs? So if government will not patronize local
made,
Bank of Industry is there, Nexim Bank is there. But if today now you say you want to start doing Airbnb is a good business. If you say now you just want to go to Jahi or anywhere and just build, get a land and build, will Federal Mortgage Bank support you?
Absolutely no.
If you go to Bank of Industry, I watch a very dark man complaining about somebody who built a factory and spent, is it 10 billion?
Yeah,
how much?
I think I saw it. About
beautiful
billions.
Factory for everything, for this, for that. The guy just needs just 1 or 2 billion to start. He has been frustrated until a family member or a friend had to go to social media to get people to begin to make noise about it. I'm sure it will be looked into by now. But the point is that, why should it be like that?
Exactly.
You're just talking. That's the typical example. So if you have such people that are struggling, what is it? So for me, the government need to put more structures in place. I'm happy today in Sweden we have my friend Charles, young guy. They're doing a lot there. There's a lot going on there. We need more of that. We need a platform where we just gave 160 scholarship. When I turned 40 last year, I felt, instead of, because we had about 3,000 guests when I was 39 on my birthday, and I felt that was a lot of money. So 2024 was going to be expensive. When I saw the budget for my birthday, it was actually more than, it was almost 200 million naira. So I said, even if I have this money to spend, I would rather give back at 40. So I said we'll sponsor 40 air hostess, free scholarship 100%, 40 aircraft technicians, 100% scholarship, 40 aircraft planners. It's lacking in the industry right now, 40, and 40 flight dispatch. As I speak to you now, the first 60 are graduating this Saturday.
Awesome.
So the money I should have used to buy a Rolls Royce or a Bentley to compete with some of those boys in town, I had to use it to spend it on them. It will cost us about 900 and something million naira in 9 months. I didn't have everything 100%, but I got a school that had the license to do it, approved by the government, and the first 60 have just finished their course as of today. Tomorrow they are getting their certificate. Saturday is graduation. And our national coordinator, Mrs. Obioma, is on her way now to Lagos for the graduation.
Awesome.
Because I can't make it due to other engagement. But I was there at the opening ceremony. So, if today my business do well, we'll employ
You'll get
more.
more people.
If anybody, so for me, again, as young people, we shouldn't give up. There are good people out there. I cannot pretend that in all this struggle, I didn't get help. I'll be a big liar. But it was a function of, you know, what I call favor, which is a product of when opportunity meets preparation. So you need to be prepared first, so that when Mr. B now hears about you, Mr. C now hears about you. I was getting some frustration to get my university approved. I felt I've done my best. I've done everything possible. I've been paying staff salary for 3 years. I was going through a lot. I didn't know what to do. But by the time I met a top person in this country, and I'll say it so that the whole world should know the truth, Sheyi Tinubu. He said, university, is it true? Can I see what you have? He said, oh, you mean you have this, you have everything? A phone call. By the time I met with the Minister of Education, he verified, you mean you have all those things? Today, my name is among 15 universities that will be announced by the President to the glory of God very soon. Now, if I did not do my part and met the requirement by the National Universities Commission, will Sheyi Tinubu or the Minister of Education be able to help me?
No.
So even if you want to help, there are procedures. There are procedures. So as a young person, you need to make sure that even if people will help you, you must do the basics. You must do the basic things. And that's what I keep telling people. That just keep doing what is right. Someday, things will actually fall in place.
Thank you very much. So if I hear you correctly, we're saying that entrepreneurship can be a tool to, you know, solve some job creation issues, provided the enabling environment is put in place. And beyond the enabling environment that we expect the government to put in place, we're also looking at, you know, reorientation of ourselves, individuals, our culture, and all of that. And then, if I also hear you correctly, you're saying that do your own work while you hope for support from somewhere. But if you have not done your own work, when the help comes, you won't be able to leverage it.
You won't be qualified for it.
Thank you very much for that. Now, everyone who knows me knows that whenever I go to meetings with government officials, or whether at the global stage or, you know, locally here in Nigeria, I'm that person that you will know that I'm there because I'm going to call you out. I will call you out respectfully, but I will also show to you what you're not doing right, you know, in your portfolio. And I'm also that person that before I call you out, I will also tell you what you're doing right before I start bashing you, right? So they know me for that. And this is me saying that we like to bash the government, and they deserve to be bashed, true, to be honest. Because if they are not bashed, they would not even realize that they are not doing things right. Sometimes I ask myself that these people, you know that Nigeria is a developing nation, which means that the public sector controls our economy, whether we like it or not. The people who are making money in this country, I'm not talking about peanuts, the people who are really making money in this country are people who have been able to enter the government in one way or the other. It's not a crime. We're still developing. But I want to ask you, yes, government has not done enough. I mean, they've not even done 1/10 of what they are supposed to do, but they have done something. Can you, from your experience and interaction with the government, can you say 1, 2, 3 things that you think government has done right? Now, I'm asking this question so that when people listen to this program, hopefully, the people concerned, when they listen to it, they are also able to identify the things they need to consolidate on. So because we need to they are not doing us any favor, no. They are just doing what they need to do. But in my language, I don't know, am I permitted to say Yoruba? I will interpret it. They say, in Yoruba, they say, yini yini, keni shemi. Like, if you do something good for me and I appreciate you for it, or I thank you for it, you will do more. So can we identify 1, 2, 3 things that we think?
You see, in the first place, me, as Isaac Balami, I was openly against this administration during the campaign. But I'm back to APC. Why? I left for 1 or 2 reasons, and I did a world press conference why I left APC. And why am I back to APC now? Is it because they've given me money? No. Is it because they've announced my name for anything? No. I've been back to APC now for about 7 months.
Oh, wow.
But you see, one thing I cannot withstand is injustice. And I was embarrassed. And I had to accept and admit that this government has been fair to all. And I'll give you a typical example. I am from the Middle Belt, which is northern minorities. That is who we are.
Okay.
I sat down one day and I counted over 40 appointments from Chief of Defense Staff to SGF, to MD, to DGs, and so on and so forth. It has never, ever happened since democracy returned. So, as somebody who people have been represented or have been given a platform, I have no reason not to speak good about the fact that there's equity for the first time. You know, I tell people, if you are not, for example, if you are not the Igbos, like I always laugh with my Igbo friends, they keep saying that they have been marginalized, which is the truth, and they need to become president someday, and so on and so forth. And I told one day, I said, do you know one set of people in this country that are actually suffering, and nobody's actually speaking for them? They're the Christian Northerners. In the north, they call me Arni. If I go south, they say Onyi Hausa. True or false? So sometimes you don't know where you're even falling. And these are part of the issues. But Asiwaju came in and nobody can say he has been against anybody based on his tribe or his religion.
Okay.
Some people might complain because they're not eating enough the way they used to eat. But in terms of equity and fairness, I counted 40 appointments. That is 1. 2, I'm from Borno State, southern Borno, next to Chibok. You know what happened to our sisters, the Chibok girls? Yes. As I speak to you now, in the last 10, 12 years, you won't believe it. Our people have harvested for the first time. They went to farm because peace has returned, security is improved seriously, and now they've gone back to irrigation farming. They are still farming now in this dry season. So people that would ordinarily call me, this is last 2 years, 3 years, by this time, as fasting is actually because we are mixed Muslim Christians, right? In fact, one of my brothers just called me today that he has just sold some of his farm produce that he's going, is it Umrah or Hajj? Umrah. He's going for Umrah. Is it in the next couple of days?
In the next 1 week.
And he has bought his ticket. This is somebody that used to harass me to pay for him. Because I pay for about 10, 20 people to go for Umrah every year. Only 3 have called me this year. Because my people are not lazy. If they can farm and they can make money, they will not beg. So, but for the past 10 years plus, they couldn't go back to their farms. Now, they can go to farm, they can pay to go for Hajj, they can pay to go for Umrah, and they're okay. So 2, I must confess that President Asiwaju, his government, is making effort to restore peace in terms of security. That is 2. Number 1 is equity, fairness for our people. Number 2 is the issue of peace being restored, and now people are going back to their farms. I'm not saying it's 100% yet, but there is serious improvement.
Okay.
Yeah. Another area also, aside security that the president has only worked on, and equity and fairness, is the youth involvement. Let us be honest. The last administration, there's no minister of youth that was not above 60 years old. True or false? True or false? Go to Smidan. They're even less than 40 years old now. In their 30s, in their 20s, they are in federal government appointments. Just the rumor that Sheyi Tinubu might run for governor of Lagos State. I have met 6 people from the north, from Gombe, from Borno, from Sokoto, from Plateau State, and from Kaduna, that have confirmed to me that, is Sheyi going to run truly? Me, self, I'm raising money, I'll go and run for governorship. You see, let me tell you this, people don't get it. Sometimes people just get angry, why is Sheyi going to run? They don't look at the bigger picture. It's a trend. And who can champion it aside Sheyi Tinubu? He's a successful young man. He's a lawyer. He has a master's. Aside what God has done for his family, he has a business. He's doing well. I know of about 14 companies that man owned. People don't know that. He has hundreds of staffs that is not tied to Lagos State or tied to anybody. He's in Qatar, he's in Dubai, he's in every member. But you see, people don't know those things. So for me, I like the fact that go to the villa, you see young boys, go to the chief of staff's office, go to the presidency's, to the president's office. So the fact that young people, male and female, are recognized and are being brought into the system, I want every state governor across the 6 zones to emulate it. Because if you don't have young people, I keep telling people, even if it's your children, for God's sake, don't our ministers and our governors have kids that have gone to school in top universities in the world? Are they not qualified? And bring them, even if it's your children, bring them. Let's see young people around. Not just people that are old. I'm not saying the old cargoes should give way totally. I'm just saying that they have their place in terms of experience, but don't suffocate the young ones like Mr. President said, let the poor breathe.
Thank you very much. So I have a few more questions for you.
Okay.
Are we enjoying the conversation so far? Okay, so I have a question. This is what I call the elephant in the room wherever I go to. The disconnect between education and national development in Nigeria particularly, because first, our curriculum, let's not go there. So I have a question for you. We know that higher education has a lot to do with national development, particularly the nexus between higher education, substantive entrepreneurship, and national development. But there seems to be a disconnect somehow. We've identified that our curriculum needs to be overhauled. But in saying that our curriculum needs to be overhauled, education has a place in national development, let's even take a step back. Because some people will argue that the merchants of the olden days, the rich merchants of the olden days, they were not formally educated. But yet, they are the people who call old money right now, and they still have the money. So my question to you is, let's leave the Western narrative right now and ask ourselves, let's just go back and ask ourselves that. Do you see a role of higher education in entrepreneurial development and national development in Nigeria? Let's just use Nigeria as an example.
You see, that is the core ingredient. It's the core ingredient, actually. And that's why I'm venturing into academia, right? That's why I took the pain to go for my master's and doing my PhD and everything. You see, when late former President Shagari went into this mass, I think he built about 400,000 housing units during his tenure. Just figure it out. And the road constructions, everything, the bridges was on that time. And he set up, is it 6 University of Technology? Because the Nigerians that started those must have, I think his vice president was an architect, Alex Ukeme, right? Was he? Most of them went overseas, went overseas to get trained, and Shagari brought them back, but he said, for sustainability and to feed the infrastructural development, he set up about 6 University of Technology. And you saw how far, today we have Foot Mina, you have in Owerri, you have Yola, Akure, everywhere, and you know the impact those universities have made. They have produced one of the best engineers that are working today, even in Honeywell, Rolls-Royce, outside Nigeria.
Yeah.
Pratt and Whitney, yeah, I know some. So, but you see, the question now is, if our curriculum is outdated or what are we teaching, right? I saw a video on Snapchat, or was it on TikTok, of a young, I mean, it's good to pray. I'm a Christian. I love to pray, right? But there's this young Nigerian boy, that boy shouldn't be more than 7 years old or 8 years old, praying, praying, praying. Beautiful to behold for a good Christian. But after that, they just switched and flipped to a video of a Chinese boy creating robotics and doing things, whatever. It's all about content. So us in our school, we pray is good, but them in their school, they ask them to cook, to teach, to do things. By the grace of God, once our university comes into existence by the special grace of God, NUC have already corrected that. You see, what people don't know, don't we have good private schools, secondary school, private, that are doing very well, that are competing globally?
Yeah, there are.
We have. At least my kids are in the UK now. They were in Dubai. I've experienced school in Dubai for kids. I've experienced school in UK for kids. But they were in Lekki, Ikoyi before they left the country. And I can tell you that the quality of education in Nigeria is not a joke. Let's be honest. Just as sometimes we like to look down on ourselves. Right? But what are we doing differently? NUC, they have given a guideline. There's a 70% of the content you must meet, but they've also given that flexibility for 30% that you can be flexible about.
Yeah,
so we have a specialized aeronautical university coming up. What are we doing differently? If you go to the best, let me pick my own industry now. The best university in aerospace in the world is Cranfield in the UK, Embry-Riddle in the US. I think these are popular and one of the best. But these 2 universities now, when you go there, after 5 years, you just finish with your degree. I have 3 people now in my company working for me, first class from the best universities, but they're not even employable. I have 2 from Oxford that I've met that are working for me now. I have to teach them some things because I've been on the street for a long time, so there are some things they don't even know. They still cannot work unsupervised yet. So what are we doing? I said, okay, I'm going to do something different with my team. If you're in our university, you do the basic, you meet the NUC requirement. But if you're doing, let's say, aircraft engineering course, for that 5 years, aside Ramadan fast, Salah holiday, Christmas, New Year, every other holiday, and every other Friday and Saturday, you will spend in the hangar with aircraft engineers for 5 years. So by the time you are 21, 22, you have logged on a live aircraft for 7,000 to 10,000 hours. And upon graduation, you are finishing with your pilot license, you are finishing with your aeronautical license, you are finishing with European and Nigerian license, you are finishing with NUC degree, you are finishing with 7 to 10,000 of in your logbook stamped by the head of quality and assurance that you can take anywhere in the world, and you're also finishing with a type course, either Boeing, Airbus, or any of the helicopter series. Now, no university anywhere in the world, not Cranfield, not Embry-Riddle can give you this, but we'll do it in Lagos, starting from this year. Now, what that means is that on the day of their graduation at 2021, 22, it is Emirates, BA, Lufthansa, American that will be coming to employ them. Because at that age, they already worth $10,000 to $15,000 a month. notify any what is your salary every month. So, AUC has given that platform. It is now left for other universities. Covenant University is doing very well. They are known for something. They imbibe leadership, you know, management into their studios. So you see somebody who has been to Covenant, there's something unique about them. If you go to ABU, Zaria, they have their strength. So it's time for us to now do more by looking inward. And now we have AI. AI is now the in thing. So how do you get somebody who is going to be trained? Just degree in business administration, but can you also give that a certification in AI to be able to survive in the outside world?
Absolutely.
So we need to be adaptive. We need to be flexible to change, to learn new things. Don't just be rigid. Like some of our old professors while I was in the university, they will so stress you. There's only one way of doing things. It is not that I realized that 2 times 1, 2. There's a different way to get these answers. I'm seeing it now on TikTok. I never knew before. You draw a line, you draw the line. Now, you see, learning has evolved. Things have changed.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I think, I don't know if I've answered that question.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much for that. Now, I think I have 3 more questions for you.
3?
Yes, I'm just going to, brush
Okay.
over them. Now, so let's deviate from education and go back to entrepreneurship. So, there are different initiatives being launched, to strengthen entrepreneurship in Nigeria. But then again, we also need to ask ourselves, or I need to ask you, what are the top 3 initiatives that you think can be launched in Nigeria to support youth entrepreneurship?
For me, I think we already have Smidan Bank of Industry and Nexim Bank for export. Today, I think Nexim has a lot to do. It's been obvious, it's been clear that even in mining alone, 20% of the lithium in the world will come from Nigeria. Now, that is huge. That is bigger than what the entire South is doing for crude oil.
Absolutely.
And this lithium is all over Nasarawa, Kwara, Kogi, going down to northeast, from Gombe axis down to Adamawa, Borno. These things are there. So it means it's export, right? So young people should begin to study and see how they can, key into this export. Of course, export of also farm produce, turmeric. I've seen people doing a lot. What is this? There's this thing that my friend is currently exporting now. Yeah, there's so much. It's there. Just you don't have to even farm. Just rent a Hilux, enter one bush market, carry 500K, buy today and keep, buy tomorrow. There are people in Lagos waiting. Even if you cannot fill up a whole container, go and do 1 ton every month. Go and, so there's something to do. Another area also for me is so that's bank. So you see, Nexim Bank has a lot to do in that area. Bank of Industry, we have different fields. Look at that man that Very Dark Man actually spoke about. The Bank of Industry has a lot to do.
Yeah,
and the fundings are actually there. Sometimes only politicians used to access it because they are the only ones that can. So the requirement has to be, And then I know that issue of transparency to pay back has been a problem over the years. We must be honest. Sometimes the reason why the banks also shy away from helping is that people don't pay. People try to default even when they can pay. So there must be a system that should be put in place, to
ensure
figure it out.
payments, yeah.
There was this support that I used to give young people in the past whereby it's not much, but I would say let somebody in your family give me a post-dated check.
Okay.
And if you refuse to pay back, we'll go and withdraw it or we'll go and arrest your uncle or your auntie. Trust me, out of 10, at least 7 will pay back now. Before, out of 10, only 2 or 3 will pay. Now, because they know that they don't want to embarrass their family members or their imam or their pastors. And if you are good, your imam or your pastor should be able to stand for you. If you're a good person, even your friends should be able to stand for you to access 1 million, 2 million naira. And from there you can grow. So, but the banks have to make those funds available. And people don't really know. And also language barrier. English is not our language. So there are people that are very, very smart, but they can only speak Igala language, they're in the village. Some can only speak Hausa, some can only speak Yoruba, some cannot speak English fluently. We need to be able to create a platform where people will now be able to know about these government initiatives and access them. I don't think I have seen any BOI, Smidan, Bank of, Nexim Bank. I've not seen any of their flyers in local languages. Maybe it exists. I've not seen one in my village. Good. So we can explore that area as well, you know, and see how we can look at it. So for me, so technically, it falls back to, I'm happy now we have young people in government, and personally, I am willing to actually speak to people like Charles. You know, he's a young person, you know, he's willing to see how he can help. He's in Smidan. We have a couple of them. Today, I think because of the impact of social media, some of those people are also accessible because they also don't want some level of scandal or whatever. So we can also cash in it, not to blackmail anybody, but also to push them to do what is right. I believe there is no leader today in the country at a level of ES, MD, ED, or DG of any agency who will see a viable idea. And because truly, sometimes you'll be surprised to find out that if the banks or the Bank of Industry knows how to ensure people will pay back, they will help. They might be stranded. And it is we, the young ones, that can come up with those initiatives. We can put it in the media, write to them, advise them, and someday somebody will see sense and actually call us back.
Thank you very much. So if I hear you correctly, what we're saying is there's no need to reinvent the wheel per initiative. We just need to ensure that the agencies that we already have or the initiatives that are already in existence give us less prohibitive requirements for people to be able to access their services. And one of the agencies that I also want to add to what you have said is SON. So I worked a little bit on when the whole AFTA started. I was part of the people that were strategizing to ensure that Nigeria participates in the AFTA market. And one of the things that we discovered was the issue of standards. We have products. It will shock you that we produce more shea butter than Ghana, but Ghana's shea butter is more exportable than ours. Countries would actually prefer to buy shea butter and wait for Ghana shea butter to be produced before buying from Nigeria. It's not because we don't have it, it's just because the standards, we're not meeting the standards. I think during the AFTA we had a stakeholders engagement, and we had a farmer that came in to share his experience. He had exported red beans and hibiscus flower to Europe, but it was returned back. Tons. Why? In the hibiscus, they discovered chemicals that they are not, you know, it's not for them because they have standards of things that can come into their country. They had seen rat feces, they had seen, the standard was just really off, particularly for the hibiscus flower. So which means that we have the ability as a country to export in large quantities, but the agencies that have been put in place to ensure the standards, because all of these countries that we want to export to have they have their standards, and they are not alien to any country that wants to export to them. It is readily available. So why are we not ensuring that the standards are met? So maybe we now need to start reaching out to the organizations that have been saddled with the responsibility. How many of us are in agriculture, and how many of us have actually had a session where SON had come to talk to you about anything? I know NEPC they do a lot around, you know, sensitizing people about standards and all of that, but have they been able to substantively ensure?
I think it's an issue, and sometimes we blame the governors or the president or the ministers. Let's be honest. Late Dr. Dora in NAFDAC, today, has anybody beaten her record?
No.
I think it's sometimes you point at somebody with a finger, but the other finger is actually pointing back at you, which is us now. For me, it's all about leadership. If you like, have the best president on earth. If the people that will implement it are not passionate and honest about what they do with the right knowledge and capacity, you cannot achieve anything meaningful. We've seen offices where people never knew it existed, and Mr. B and Mr. W came in as the head, and wow, everything changed. You know? So for me, I think all these things falls back to leadership and love for your nation. We need to be patriotic enough. If today you are an MD or DG of an agency, you should ask yourself, what is the mandate? Can you audit yourself? Audit yourself, self-audit. If our leaders will do that for themselves, I think we'll have drastic changes, because for me, it falls back to leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and some are doing well in some sectors, but some are just docile. The budget comes in, they spend it every year, they wait for their 4-5 years tenure. If it's not renewed, they move on. But you see, people forget that you'll be remembered till all of us die. Even our grandchildren will hear about Dora, what she did.
Absolutely.
In NAFDAC, she was never the Minister of Health. But I can't even remember who was the last Minister of Health. Please, who's the last Minister of Health?
Adewale, Professor Adewale.
But Dora will ring a bell anytime, any day. So let God give us another Dora in SON, in other areas. That's just our prayer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again. We saw different perspectives to your journey, your insights on entrepreneurship in Nigeria and all of that. So this is going to be my final, it's not a question, it's just a request. What are your final thoughts? So everybody here, represent different sector. There's some in AI, there are some in, different sectors. So
AI is not a sector.
Because AI is the buzzword.
You don't pass ICT now.
Yeah.
It's
AI, it is tech, but now
It's
I
tech.
see, this is just my own perv. Whenever I see people, working around AI, leveraging AI and all of that, I give them their own, corner, because they deserve to be in that corner.
We need to motivate them.
Yeah, because AI has come to stay, whether we like it or not. It's the new reality. We don't know whether in the next 5 years something else is going to come up, but it has come to stay. So here in the audience are people from different, sector, and I would want to, request that you share your final thoughts in like maybe a minute or two. What are your final thoughts or encouragement to everyone in the room this evening?
So my final thought is we should be honest people in everything we do. You think people are not actually watching you? People are actually watching you. I'm not saying, aside God, nobody is actually perfect. But just do your best. There are times when people want to label you and blackmail you just because they've seen a potential in you, so they want to undermine you and even label you in a negative way before you even emerge, right? But what will make you to stand out is that honesty, transparency, and be willing to learn. Most of we young people are very, very arrogant and very, very stubborn. The small brain you have is eating into you that you feel you can't learn. The day you stop learning, that is the day you start dying. So you need to be open-minded, be a good ambassador of your family, be a good ambassador of your country. Because today the leaders that we're even complaining about, they were once raised by father and mother.
Absolutely.
So it is what the society has produced that is giving us what is happening now. So for me, I think there's a lot of negative thought and prophecy about the current Gen Z and what they will give birth to. But I think they can actually change that narrative by thinking differently, by putting that energy into something positive. There's nothing about this Gen Z that I see that is bad. My daughter is actually 18, so she's a Gen Z, right? She's in the UK, she's in school and she works. She works about 10 hours a week, But one thing I have also learned is that there's something good about you guys. And listen. Pick the best part of this generation and make best come up with a hybrid. There are a lot of things you are doing that is not going to fly, that is not good. In terms of attitude and that you are intelligent, that you are aware, doesn't mean you should be disrespectful or do as you wish. Even developed nations till tomorrow, if you go to the royalties, you go to the King of England, you go to Wales, go to Australia, they still have culture. So as you copy from the West, please copy the good things. The bad things, leave them. Leave them and have a hybrid of something that is going to make this country work. If Nigeria fails, if Africa fails, where? Today Trump is deporting people back to Africa, back to Asia. So it is now obvious that we have to fix this country. Otherwise, we're not welcome in other parts of the world. You saw one of us in UK. She went in there through the shortcut and the permissible ways, and now she wants to raise the bar and make life difficult for every other Nigerian to even have a British passport. Absolutely. If she is given an opportunity.
She's on her way out.
Out of what?
Out of the leadership.
No, I know, but that seed has been sown, right?
Yeah.
The bottom line is whether she succeeded or not, we should fix Nigeria.
Absolutely.
We should. I have no reason. I have a hangar in the UK. If I choose to stay in the UK, I know how much I'll make every month. I'm opening my branches around other parts of the world, but I always ask myself, the day I finished my program in the US, that same night, people were like, Balami, let's go shopping. I said, I've already shopped last weekend, what I need. I left US the day I graduated to come back to Lagos. Why? And a few of my classmates or people that, my age mate that remained there, now they're asking me, Abeg, is there vacancy in your airline? Can we come back and work? There's nothing out there. There's no place like home. Look at our weather. Even during rainy season, this is the only, we are so lucky. I just came back from Bauchi some few days ago. It was 18 degrees in the evening, towards morning, up to morning, between 20 and 18 degrees by February. Go to Jos, go to Taraba, go to Oshun, we have what? So we need to look back. Let's just look inward. Nobody will fix this continent for us. Nobody will do it for us. But we can do it. So I'm happy we're all online. We're seeing what is happening, what is obtainable in other parts of the world. Please, guys, what you cannot think, you cannot become. From amongst us here, we have ministers, governors, presidents in the future. What you cannot see, you cannot offer, you can't give when the time comes. So please, let us make Nigeria work again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We thank you for honoring this invitation. I hope we've found value in today's conversation. And as we continue in the Entrepreneurs of Every Kind series, we also hope that you would join us. I'm going to yield the floor back to the coordinator.
But is there any question?
Yes, questions. Yeah. Yes, microphone for him.
Let's make it snappy, I have another meeting.
All right.
Okay. So.
Hello. So where do we start from?
The first person is right. That's him. Am I allowed to stand up?
Your legs are hurting,
No, I time my sitting
Good evening,
and
sir.
standing. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. My name is Amzat Latif. I'm a co-founder at Cyberplura. Cyberplura. We provide managed security services to business. And today I'm going to say that I really enjoy your session. You shared a couple of interesting stuff with us. Like most time we get to listen to motivations, but today's one is the real deal. Like you are bringing experiences, you are bringing like real challenges that we face in this space. But my question to you is the fact that it has to do with trends. So why is it that we find it difficult to pay attention to other things that can bring the country forward in terms of development, especially people with the money? So today, the trend in the tech space is that everybody wants to put their money in fintech, and nobody's looking at other important things that the world is actually catching up at. So how do you advise people with the money that are ready to put in their money to also look at other areas? If you have all these things and it's not secure, like in our own case, we provide security for businesses and startups. So if you are not looking at putting money in us to provide solutions that can support us here, instead of looking to the West and the global north for products, we can do that. We have an R&D team that can build products that can support your security as a business. So I don't know, what can you say to that? Thank you, sir.
And I'm being honest. Out of every 100 billionaire that I've come across, at least 98 don't believe in investing in anybody. So just know it. They would rather put their money, even if the interest rate is very low, they would rather keep it or put it under their bed or put a well in their house under the mattress and just be eating it until they get old and they finish, right? Somebody spoke, I don't know what's his name, one doctor. He spoke about why, do you know, and I believed, out of all the theories I've heard, that theory actually caught me, and I believed in what that man said, because at some point I was also a victim of that. Do you know why today, for example, our dollar is, even though dollar is dying now, Naira is doing very well, and it's good to say these things, right? Now, nobody is talking about it. I got a phone call while I was driving here today. Biu, in Borno South, where I come from, grains, maize, that was 80,000 per bag, today is 35K.
Wow.
And you can go and verify in your village. Naturally, it came down on its own, right? This other one, what was this thing called again? That was 175K, is now 80K. So, but why is our money? Or, let me answer your question first, and I'll get back to this. Focus on building a product. Start with your immediate cycle. And then people will trust you, and more people will come and invest in you. As I speak to you now, I have a contract coming up, and I have technically, in the next 18 months, I need about 10 helicopters for a particular contract. Each one is about 20-something million US dollars each. And about 5 companies have written me that they want to buy it for me. Then we'll share profits. But you see, was that possible 10 years ago? 10 years ago, they wouldn't even reply my emails, or they wouldn't even look for me. So focus on yourself for now. You have a startup. Let your family and friends begin to use it. You can't tell me that even in your family, your clan, in your village, there are no people that need your services. So if they cannot trust you, why should I trust you? So start from your cycle immediately. Leave the billionaires. They have a way of spending their own money. There are few that will look for you, like what the UBA chairman is actually doing. But only him, how much impact can he make? You know, so we need more of that. But I was speaking about this issue of dollar. Today, every average Nigerian, when he makes money, he wants to put his money in dollar. And the man was talking about how many $billion is in our banks in dollar. So there's more demand for dollar. There's no, because when you talk about export, it's not as if South Africa or Morocco that their currency is still strong. Some 10 to 1, 15 to 1, 100 to 1, us we're in 1,000 plus to $1. It's not as if they are exporting more than us, or they're more productive than us. It's that them, they believe in their own currency. So they don't want to use the dollar. Us, despite selling crude, we still want to use dollar because we travel more in Africa. So we, all our money, like I think a significant percentage of every billionaire's money is in dollars. So why won't dollars? So it's not President Tinubu's fault. It's not his fault. If you stop that now, dollar will come back to 300 in 2-3 months. True or false? True. So for me, let us look inward. And I brought this issue of dollars because it's also us. It comes back to us again. You know, so let us look inward. Just, my brother, just start small. Start small. If you have only 2-3 clients, be faithful to them. They will talk about you to other people, how you help their business, how you save them from this attack or that, and more people will come to you. That is just it.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abala. So I want to ask you, apart from the traditional way of getting loan from banks, and if you're a startup, you don't have a wealthy family, or you're not from wealthy background. So in what way do you think, or what advice would you give to that kind of person that can't approach bank and doesn't have a family to fall back on to get loan from, but he's got a very beautiful idea? So in what ideas would you give to him for him to get fund for him to start himself up?
So in what sector now?
Maybe in agriculture.
So, if I should ask you now, how much do you need to start an agri farm or whatever it is?
It depends on.
You as we are here like this now.
Well, judging by what I actually wanted to go into.
What you desire to raise to start?
Maybe 200 million.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So you see, that is the problem. Sit down. That's the first problem. So let us, because guys, let us be practical here and let us solve a generational problem. And we'll do it together here. I gave you a typical example of my orphanage. These are kids that we picked as infants. They still kill twins in some villages. Kogi still kill twins in some villages. Gwagwalada have 7 rivers, 7 villages. After Gwagwalada, they still kill twins. And they still kill twins in Taraba. So we've rescued dozens of those kids that they don't know who their parents are. And there are villages where if you give birth to a child, if your mother dies during child labor, the next morning as they're burying the mother, they'll bury you with the mother because you're an evil child, you killed your mom. There are such villages. We have rescued a couple of them as well. So we've bought Okada and cars in villages, and once it happens, they call us, we move to rescue the child 2-3 a.m. in the morning. Those kids, we open a farm for them. And I only give them 1,000 birds. And they dashed me 300 bags. They said, founder, God bless you, take 300 birds, which we share for family and friends during the last Christmas. So they sold 700. At 25,000 naira, please, how much is it? Let us be, because we want to solve issues here now.
Okay.
How much is that?
25.
And the entire 1,000 birds, sir, we did not spend 3 million naira in 8 weeks, including buying of the birds, transporting the birds to Abuja. 24 million naira. As I speak to you now, they have 3 sets of chicken. They've sold it now. They have 3 sets of chicken now that they are now supplying restaurants at 15,000 for one. Now they are getting ready for Ramadan to supply meat, chicken during Ramadan, and Salah and the Easter fasting as well. And from what I've seen, from that 2.5 million naira I gave them, they made how much, sir, during this Christmas? 17 million after dashing out 300 chickens. Now, from the projection, by August this year, they will have about 180 million. And if they should reinvest half of that, because I say don't invest everything you make. You save some and you invest the rest. And you expand gradually. Now they are buying the land next to where this farm is, and they've paid for it already from what they made in December. And they just use mud house. You know, mud house during cold is warm, during heat is cold. And they just put zinc and grass, or leather and grass, and a net in the front, and those chickens are fine. They put solar in the farm now. Because when they are a day old to, I think 1 week or 2 weeks, they need to eat 24 hours. You know, I've been learning all those things as well. Now, what am I trying to say here? You want 200 M. Nobody will give you 200 M. No bank will give you 200. One, if I print your 6-month account statement, have you spent 600 M? So why should I give you 200 M? Two, and I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to everybody, please. That's why I went down to break it down to what I have done in the last 6 months that has also worked. Right? My brother, I was doing a hotel project in northeastern part of this country, and one of them went home to help me clear the land and fence the land and do this or that, and he saw some 5 hectares of land that he was to lease for 10 years, and every year he would pay 5 hectares. Every year he would pay only 1 million naira.
Wow.
Bush, fertile land. So he rented it, and I gave him about 1.5 million naira to buy the seeds and to pay the local laborers, manual farming. As I'm speaking to you now, he's waiting the grains, the hundreds of bags he have had. He has kept it in a store. He's renting that store. By the time he sells it, he has sold some and is doing irrigation now. But by the time he sells what he has saved, you know, in the next couple of months when food price goes up, before rain starts, food price will go up, right? Or during rainy season, because he's going to be making about 30 million naira. Plus leasing of the land, plus what he spent for the seed and the labor to weed the grass and the chemicals and the fertilizer. This guy did not spend up to 5 million naira. And he has already sold to make some money now, and he has been feeding off this thing ever since he actually started. So the point here is that we should learn to start small. I told you here, when I left Aero Contractors Airline, I left with $2,000. When Amcon took over Aero, and I just couldn't stand it anymore. I was a senior staff in Aero Contractors then. Today, with that $2,000, I told you I couldn't pay my rent in the airport to even have an office space. Today, 6 airlines have written to me to rent my office space. 6 airlines are going to be my tenant, and 4 already are my tenant now as we speak. 4 are now my tenants. Bigger than me, richer than me. So you have to start small. Don't think, nobody will give you 200 million naira. If you even take it, you fail. If you invest 200 M in agriculture now, Oga, except if you've been doing it for 10 years, you have experience and you are scaling up. Scaling up is different from starting up. So I will advise you, let me give you a simple idea. You mentioned agriculture. It can be in any sector. Just go to a microfinance bank. Some charge about 3.5% a month, Abi? Or 4%, 5% a month maximum. A cycle of chicken is maximum 3 months. There are places where you can go and rent place for chicken. Yeah. You can even, my orphanage now, they are making the feed for the chicken by themselves. After 2 weeks, they switch back to the one that they are producing by themselves. I bought them the machine to mill it. They just grind this one, soya beans, this one, that one, even crayfish. They buy everything and blend it for the chicken. And those chickens are very, very healthy. You ate the chicken. Very, very sweet chicken. Very, very sweet chicken. The chicken is wonderful. You know? So the point here I'm trying to make is that start small. Somebody actually came to me because I gave his brother money before for business, and the person squandered it. So I was watching. That one never came back to me again. It's not much, just 1 million naira. But that time, dollar was 300 and something black market. So it's a lot of money, right? He now came back again and told me that him now, I'm not happy with him, but his brother wants to do business. And that his brother is my favorite. So I said, I have forgiven you, but I can't give you money again. He said, yes, sir. You, what do you want? He said, sir, I just want 2 million naira, and this is my business idea. It made sense. All he wanted to start doing was that this rice paddy. So he got somebody, he has somebody who has the mill. So he just goes to the villages on their market days and buy the paddies. And then he transports it by road. Then they arrange it, then he puts it in bags and sell. And the profit margin was excellent. I said, okay, I'll help you. And I called my friend who owns a microfinance bank. He said, Balami, I'm not lending, but what do you want? I said, I just want 2 million naira. I said, but I will guarantee it. He said, but the guy has to bring equity contribution of 30%. How much is that? 600?
600,000, yeah.
So how much extra?
1.4.
1.4. I said, okay. Don't tell him I will give you the equity. Tell him you will waive it. But he should bring 3 other family members to guarantee that loan. I'll give you the 600K. I just want to help that guy. I had cash then. That same day, I gave him the 600K. So the guy got a letter and a check from his church pastor, and then one of his uncle who is a police officer and somebody who is level 14 in the ministry of whatever they call it. They kept it. The idea is not so that you know that you have to be serious and pay back. While you are in the bush driving to go and buy this thing, now your uncle and your pastor check 9 days old. So at the end of the day, as I speak to you now, this guy now, his turnover every month now, he does turnover twice a month now. Wow. And it's over 100 million. Okay, in 6 months. So the issue with we young people, including me, I also suffered it, is that we want one big money to start. No, nobody will give you big money anywhere in the world. Nobody will. But just start small. Start small. There must be a way out. Do you know that you can start poultry with 200,000 naira? Just buy 50 beds only. And when they are okay, he even rear them organically. In fact, I've seen somebody who he couldn't even, the person couldn't even afford the feed. So they had to grow like broilers. They were eating food, kamzo, they were eating local things.
Free range.
And he sold it to a particular restaurant. And the money they paid him, he was able to expand. And today he's doing very well. If you don't start small and grow, you cannot sustain it. If you start big, you will crash. So my advice is, don't even ask for that kind of money, sir. Maximum, between 1 to 10 million, depending on who is in your cycle, what you can access. Start small. And I assure you, the next time I will be invited to speak here, I want to hear how many 100 million you've made.
Okay. Thank you very much. I wish we would be able to take more questions, but unfortunately...
No, there's one more person, just this person only. I think you raise your hand. Is it you or this one?
There are a lot of persons who have questions.
Okay. No, just him. I'll just give it to him so that we'll go.
Thank you so much, sir. My name is Rex, and I really enjoy every bit of this very session. You are a very practical person, I must say, and I don't think I've listened to someone that is practical with real life story like you. I am a co-founder of Ogasa.
Of what?
Ogasa Technology.
Ogasa?
Yes.
Okay.
Like the Ogasa you.
Ogasa.
Yes. Ogasa, yes. So it's a social celebratory application. What we do is making birthdays or events of like memorable. We're trying to change the traditional way of celebration using the technology. My question is about funding, just like you mentioned. But before then, I like to say this. Each time we talk about funding, one of the things we hear is don't take investors' fund. Don't take investors' fund. It's better you bootstrap, use your customer base to scale. And to a large extent, we don't see that sustainable. So I don't know if it's okay asking you this question, but I want to ask you personally. The investment you got from the person who came to invest with you, did it make any difference to where you are currently? And this whole idea of not taking investors' fund, or what will you say about that?
But who is saying don't take? Who said don't take investors' fund? Who?
Usually,
you hear it in the media.
Even it's a popular thing.
It's popular. I understand your point. Okay, good. Okay, get your point. You know, I already shared a background how I sold 10% of my business some time ago at $1 million, right? Of course, $1 million. I told you I bought equipment, tooling, and I was able to get my certification to start my aircraft hangar. So yes, it made a difference. And guess what? I've made enough money. I've bought that person back. I've bought that 10% back. Huh? So, if you take investors' fund, like why I love this issue of agriculture, it's a 3-month cycle. Even if you plant a grain, fish farming, it's 2-3 months, maximum 4 months, right? Not like the palm kernel that used to take some
cocos
whatever
and all
cocoa.
of that.
That's different, right? These are cash,
Crops.
but the cycle is very very short. Today, even the microfinance bank that the loan is high, at worst 5% a month. If you're a serious person, and there's no where I think, can't you insure a farm?
You can, absolutely.
There's NAIC.
From debt, Abi, so that if you lose your chickens,
Crop insurance.
good.
There's
Even
an agency called NAIC, National Agricultural
Good.
Insurance Commission.
Even us now that out of 1,000 chickens, hardly you see 2 or 3 die from one matching one. Not from sickness. We've been that lucky. Even when they say that there's bird flu, the people have killed their own. We have always been lucky. Even with that, now that I'm aware, I will tell them to go and insure our farm tomorrow.
2%.
No, they'll go and insure it tomorrow. Yeah. It's good to insure because I'm an aviator. You know, imagine a plane crash without insurance. It's not possible, right?
Yeah.
So if your business, if the turnaround time is very, very quick, you can take loan or get investors. For me, the best is even investors' money. You know why? Because no interest. The person will come and take equity. And you have somebody who also cares about what you're doing. You think, how many percent does Bill Gates owns in Microsoft? 24%? You think Dangote owns Dangote 100%? Does he?
No.
So why are you running away from investors? If you are at the point where people can even invest, please collect the money, but be transparent. Because if you are fair to them, they will ask others to come and invest. And before you know it, you have surplus cash, you now begin to diversify into other sectors. That's how today I own 7 companies. And I have the 8th one, which is a university. So, my brother, if you are ready, just make it clear, have a projection, 1-year plan, 5 years plan, whatever it is. Be realistic. If you are transparent, your people will be very, very happy with you. But most times, in most cases that I've seen, every entrepreneur that got investors, they ended up as enemies. In most cases. If you are transparent and there's a crisis in your business, even if somebody has given you 100 million naira, he won't sue you. If he can see that you are not a cheat, that you did not defraud him or her. So the best thing for me is just be honest in what you do. You will struggle when you are honest. Most young people made it by being dubious. But check how they end. But there's nothing you will do with him. If he's your partner today, anything you do behind closed door, it will be exposed in the future. And then what will be your name? So for me, there's nothing wrong in getting investors fund, but it is how you apply that fund that is key. And there's everything wrong in starting big. There's everything wrong because you need to. That is why God did not make the babies to start running. They need to learn how to even roll on the bed. Babies, when they are born, they are just there. Yeah, they are crying, they're just there. Then they begin to roll on the bed. Then they begin to turn, flip. Then they can now sit. Then they can now stand. They can now begin to take baby steps, walk, and then run. So if you imbibe that culture, you'll be so rooted. Today I've had attack coming to me to bring me down. But they don't know where I started, where I came from. I started from there. So even when you think you've got me, you've brought me down, I'll just appear from that place. Where is it coming from again? Because my structure the foundation is solid. My airline and my hangar, this is the 3rd year, I have not spent 8 hours on my seat. Structure. On this phone, I run everything. I see everything. I give instruction in the morning, anywhere I am in the world. But that couldn't have happened in the first 3, 4, 5 years. I had to sit down every day, Monday to Sunday, to build it up. But once the structure has been built, then the structure runs itself. So take it easy, start small. You want to do 100 hectares of land? No, start with 5 hectares of land. You want to start with 10,000 birds? Start with 1,000 birds. In 8 weeks, you'll be selling them now. In 8 weeks, you sell them. And with that money, you will go and buy more. And just in even 3 months, if any bank sees the inflow, They will call you and they can give you that 200M in 3 to 6 months. And by then, they will say, how did he do it? Who guaranteed him? No, your effort, your hard work, your consistency, your transparency guaranteed you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you. There's no question. You will have the link. You can join the community. Whatever question you have, we'll be able to take them and answer them from there. We wish we could take more questions and spend the whole night here, but we cannot. So thank you. I'm going to use no question.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, we really have to be conscious of. Or if there's a popular vote to take 2 more questions, I'm happy to, but I just don't think that. I'm just mindful of time. Do you want to have 2 more questions? Or we should?
Okay, but I think he is. Okay, since he's the only person.
I can only take.
Okay.
Request. And request is different now.
All right, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this section, and when Ola mentioned your name, I was so excited about that you're coming. So basically, I've been in the agri sector, and before that, I've been able to build network because I've been around for. So my question is, she was talking about exchange, like you're taking it. So there's this body in Nigeria called Nigerian Commodity Exchange. It's under the Bank of Industry.
Yeah.
So they help facilitate trade between buyers and sellers and the rest. And there's also NAIC. You get it. So for every other person information. So now, because for me, my company, I have an agri company. So we got a project from NCS, that is Nigerian Commodity Exchange, because we've also been able to facilitate trade. So now they now ask my company to help in producing over 1,000 metric tons of soya beans. And when I asked, because they've actually acquired money, and I asked, what about, so this, we have an agreement that they will provide us a warehouse, and they'll guarantee us a market and 25% upfront when we put our commodity in the warehouse. So because of that project, so I reached out to the Niger State government for land, because I know land might be a problem, and they're interested in giving us land.
Niger?
Yes, because I know the governor is so much interested in. So they are interested in giving us land. Do you understand? So now I have land, I have the markets, and then also the warehouse. Do you understand? So now, because of the kind of production, so in my situation whereby I have a market already, there's a warehouse. So how do you think I can? So what I'm thinking before let me say what I'm thinking. So for that kind of project, and also we also bought
Hello,
NAIC.
one house, please. Yeah.
And then also, I also met the MD of NAIC, Nigeria Agricultural Insurance Fund, so they told that they can insure the crop for 2%, and in case of herdsmen, it will be 3.5%. Because when I told they said, I asked a lot of herdsmen, they said, if it's herdsmen, we have to add additional 1.5.
But the insurance should cover everything. Now, why are they specific?
They said they have a clause.
Okay, anyway, so total
that policy.
herdsmen, fire, theft, everything.
3.5.
It's still okay.
So now, having putting all of those structure in place, and we're looking to farm in June, because that's the farming season. So I'm thinking of, okay, raising funds to do that kind of capacity. And although we've not know what Niger State government is going to give us, because we're seeing agreement. So how do you think I can, other source of me getting funding to do the project?
So what is, you see, again, I mean, you gave me a serious long story, right? You already have an off-taker.
Yes.
Is it signed?
Yes.
You have an off-taker.
They fully onboarded us.
Do you have an agreement that is notarized, or?
If you produce 10 trailers of soya
beans,
and they don't buy it from you, can you sue them?
Yes.
You have a document that allows you
because
to.
We'll do that next week.
Now, so you see, so you are not there yet. If you have an off-taker and you have an airtight agreement, you can sit down with any bank.
And they will give you.
This man said I should produce this thing for him.
Okay.
He said he will buy it. In fact, if you have an off-taker, the state government, thank God for the governor, I don't know how fast they are, but state government or federal government can even delay you. If you have an off-taker and the rates are very, very good and you are selling in dollars?
No, in Naira.
In Naira, but it's a good deal, eh?
Yeah, that is 800,000 per metric tons.
So that's a good deal, right?
Yes, that's a good deal.
That's about how many That's about
80 million or thereabout.
That's about 600 or $500 per ton.
Okay, dollar.
Yeah, because that's the market, right? So you need to get a business consultant. I'm not an accountant, but I know I have small sense. Small. What? All you just need to do is very, very simple. Sign first. You don't have a contract yet.
Yeah,
When you sign that contract, you can even go to somebody who, because if the state is even wasting your time, you can go to meet somebody who has a farm. And even say, sir, this your farm has been laying down fallow, doing nothing. I have this contract. I'm willing to sign and give you a post-dated check, or I'm willing to give you any form of guarantee that you want. Can I farm on this farm? By paying something small, but when I harvest and I get this money, I'll pay the full rent. If you meet 10 landowners, 1 or 2 will accept it. The issue is that we are lazy. We don't want to go around and hustle. That is the real hustle. You have to go and look for these things. They are there. There are people that have farm that nobody has entered for the past 10 years. And if he sees that you're a young person and in fact, that person might even be a friend of your imam or your pastor.
Exactly. You're right, sir.
So I'm right.
I actually met.
So I am a prophet now. Okay.
They actually gave us a land. So we went to Shaki, and when we got there, the man that gave us land, chairman of SMK Group, when we got to the 250 hectares, the person that is monitoring
too much. You cannot do that farm. For a start with your 5 to maximum 20 hectares. Start somewhere first. In 3 months, you harvest it. You go to the next level. Take it easy. Before you know, you are there. So this your matter is not for discussion. This one, you need a consultant to help you. Who is your mentor?
I like this shit too.
So you need to sit down with a mentor, because how I wish I am mentoring over 600 people. I'm overwhelmed. I can't mentor everybody. I'm actually overwhelmed. But hopefully there's a hall, there's an auditorium that can take 1,000 people in my university in Lagos. I hope that I can bring my friends like Ola and Co. in the future, months from now or years from now. I can raise 10 people in this sector, 10 in that sector that can help, because it's actually overwhelming. But you just need to sit down with, I can see you are passionate, but you are inexperienced, but you need to learn the basics. So there are short courses on business. Ola, don't you run business this thing here? Banks. You are here now. These boys, they need you. They need your short programs on entrepreneurship, business, how to raise money. They need to come and meet you. Yeah, sure. Please. He's here. Even me, I learn from him a lot. The way I'm doing aircraft, he's a guru in that area they're talking about. He will look at what you have, your product, he will advise you, and he will make sure you excel in life. I'll
just read him that but I'll help them.
No, let us help them.
Let us help them. Awesome.
Sometimes these guys, they don't need more than 2 hours in a month from you, and you will see them becoming millionaires in the next few years.
Okay, but that's actually like a very perfect time to talk about one of the things that we want to talk about. So thank you very much. So a round of applause for both Ambassador Balami and Ms. Foye. I think you can still see it. You can start. It's okay. No, it's all right. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We're here because of you,
Go ahead.
it's all right. So being part of this event, we used to have this event before, and unfortunately for the past couple, we stopped, and now we are relaunching again. So these are like our very first edition this year. So it's called Entrepreneurship of All Kinds, and the whole idea is to every month, once a month, come together like this, a collective. Anyone that's interested in entrepreneurship or
Ola, can you go close to the move over there to work? The battery is ahead.
Okay, perfect. So I don't want to cover your faces. Okay, perfect. So that's so it helps to some of the questions you're asking and some of the you will find some answers. And every single time, we hope to bring in different persons, different individuals that has a lot of, because nothing beats the opportunity to learn from hearing what other people are doing that have successfully done what we're trying to do. And that will be a good time to. How many of us here are coming to Impact Hub for the first time? 1, 2. Okay. Wow, that's really interesting. So everybody came here. So it was actually intentional. We did try to reach out to people that has not been part of our community before. So because of that, I'll quickly do like a 5-minute introduction to Impact Hub, and then. Okay, so I can use that too. So Impact Hub, we are an innovation hub. We're basically a place for people to. We couldn't do it all. This is just a small part of the hub, but we usually during the day it's a co-working space. Then when we have an event like this, it's bigger. So we have an innovation space, and what we do here is to just curate a community for entrepreneurs to thrive, to support them, to make sure that they can. We have quite a journey. We used to be Eco, we became Impact Co, we became Impact Central, and now we are Impact Hub. But the good thing about it is that we are locally rooted, but we're globally connected. So you can see from our new logo, up until about 6 months ago, we used to be Impact Central. But now we're Impact Hub because we had to do a transition. We joined a global network of hubs, so we are Impact Hub Abuja. So for example, if you're part of our community, you will be, if you go to New York, you will find Impact Hub in New York, you find Impact Hub in London, you find Impact Hub in Nairobi. We are in about, I think, 67 countries and 125 cities. So we are part of a global conglomerate of innovation spaces but the point is that we're local. Even though we have this global reach, we're interested in entrepreneurs here in Abuja metro area. And when we talk about Abuja metro area, we're talking about FCT, Nasarawa, some part of Kogi, and some part of Niger State as well. So we will support you if you are interested in how most of our community members are like micro, you're just starting. You have a lot of tech people that are involved in tech spaces, and so we're just pretty much more than a co-working space. Like I said, we are locally rooted, but we're globally connected community. So about the importance of stressing that global connection is that if you are a part of our community, you're not just meeting other entrepreneurs here. You have an opportunity to leverage outside of the shores of this country in one way or the other. So that's why it's important for us to leverage our global connection. Maybe if your work requires that, or if you're looking for funding, or you're finding there are a lot of different ways where you might benefit from a global ecosystem. And okay, just like I was saying, we used to be Impact Central, but now we're Impact Hub. But nothing really changes because we've been doing the same thing that we've been doing for the past 4 years, even when we change name. But what just happens is that we created a better structure, a better institution that allows us to kind of like catch on a bigger purpose by helping our local. But the vision remains the same. We are a local hub. Interested in supporting. There's an Impact Hub in Lagos, by the way. There are 2 Impact Hubs in Nigeria, Abuja and Lagos. Lagos has been around for a longer time. And then, so again, stressing the idea that from Abuja to the world, we just want to be able to be that space where we connect everyday entrepreneurs with opportunities to kind of like see what's possible. And we also want to bring the world to Abuja in a way. So that is kind of how we visualize how we support our community members and our so you'll be thinking about it. What does it even mean? I'm saying hub. So we try to think about it this way. So we're not just a co-worker. We're first a physical space. So there is a space that's a co-working space. People are here. They rent an office. They rent conference room, a media lab. We have a couple of things going on. But that's not what we are alone. More than that, we are an enterprise incubator, which means that we can help you. You know what an incubator is, right? Generally, you have an idea. You have a still, like what is baby? Instead of allowing the baby to die because they are born on time, what do? You incubate them, you cater for them. So we're a space where we can give you tailor-made support, what you need at the very initial stage of you ideating around your business ideas. We can help you start it, test it, grow it, and so we will help you incubate. And then also we are a community space. I'm sorry I'm rushing through this, but you normally do the presentation for like 30 minutes, but I want to do it in 5. And I'm like, so we are a community space, meaning that we're a community, we're together, a collective. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur, we have the space, we have the media lab, we're a place where you can be naked and you cannot be ashamed. Like you can start, you can fail, you can start again. And if we walk around the hub, we're very connected into the way we think in terms of supporting ourselves, making sure that it's very hard. We know it's hard to build anything. So because we're all builders, so we can think in the same way, we can support ourselves the same way. So we're a community space. We're also an impact launch. So we're very focused on impact. We're not just thinking about, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I just want to solve a problem and make money. But we're very interested in, you can use one stone to, you can make money, but you also think about the global, the relevance of your work, of your solution, of your business into a bigger society as an impact maker. So we also do have a media lab here. So you can see we're currently recording these sessions. All of our production are done by local people. We didn't have to bring anybody from outside. All of our equipment are here. We do, because we have a media lab. We have a studio just behind the wall of this building where we do some of our podcasting. People can rent it if you want to do a podcast or you want to do a short video. We do documentary. We do all of that. We also have a tech lab upstairs. We have a lab where people are training to become, if we are in the age of technology, so technology is everything. If you want to do data science, data analytics, project management, we support the ecosystem to use technology as an entrepreneur or as an impact maker. So we're also a change makers hub. What does that mean? We're very heavily interested in supporting people who think beyond themselves as an individual, who are interested in making the better world possible by making the society better. So a better self and a better world. But you want to be better so that your world can be better. And this is very loosely designed. Like, there are a lot of ways you can think about it. But we also an XG activation hub, which means that if you go outside, you will see the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We're heavily around the scope of how do we help whatever business you're building or whatever solution you're building, how does it help end poverty? How does it make climate change an history? How do you support all of these SDGs? So we're very interested. And of course, this speaks also to our bigger goal of the ecosystem that we support in a global scale. We're an enterprise support center. So we're an accredited capacity development organization. So if you do a training with us, we can certify you. If you are trying to get a loan from Central Bank, for example, we can say that, oh, these are our entrepreneur. They've trained on how to finance money. So we are an enterprise support organization. So we have the capacity to provide that service as well. And I think that's it. So I think I would just, I think take a look around now. Everybody is probably like, I think most of us are entrepreneurs. Who is not an entrepreneur here? Or is not an intending entrepreneur? It's that you are already doing your own business. So the whole thing around us is that that's like a common denominator for us, like everybody. So, but our community, you will come people around there. It's not just only entrepreneurs. We have people who are working for government, who just want to be in the development space. We have impact development entrepreneurs. We have NGOs. We have remote workers. Some people just come here. You need a quiet place to do a 2-hour meeting with very fast internet without interruption and all of that. You just come and use the space. Some people are working from here primarily as a virtual office or co-working space. We have freelance. We have students from different schools. We have different programs that support this kind of different users. And then our programs. I mean, this is one of the programs that we're talking about. We have the tech core. We have the entrepreneurs of all kinds, community engagement event. That's what we're doing right now. So we have Abuja Enterprise. So Balami was talking earlier about, so I think I will go deep into this about how do you teach people how to. Abuja Enterprise Academy is our primary program that's designed to support anyone with capacity development. So it's a 10-month program. So you come here once a month. It's physical, and you take different classes. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. But for you to get a certificate of recognition, you have to have attended at least 70% of the classes, meaning that you must attend 7 out of 10 minimum. But other than that, you don't have to. You can just come in because each month is a different topic. For example, we have classes on how to write a business plan or how to get funding, ideating your business venture. You have classes like marketing or each month or each class, it's a full session. We bring in like a full master class session with a very good facilitator who knows who've done through that part, and they will give you. So, and at this point, it's not paid. So, if you registered for the event, and you are interested in knowing more about this, we're happy to share the information with you. But we are starting the cohort for 2025 in March. So that might be useful for you. It's very low effort actually, because once a month is not really difficult for someone that really wants something serious. So we have the Graduate Enterprise Academy, Graduate Digital Enterprise and Employability Program. We have the Tech Digital Skills, of course. We have the Media Lab, and we have the Impact Ventures Fund. So that's something that we're trying to develop to find a pool. Again, coming back to Balami, it's like we didn't talk about it, but it all comes back because we have this small pool of funds where we are able to seed small ideas with small money to test. Because one of the things that we've learned doing this is that, going back to what Balami was saying earlier, you have to start small. All of us think that because the idea is fully formed in your head, the next person should know about it. No, nobody wants to play with their money. It is very, very easy to get money to scale than to start. So we want to be able to allow you to start because we believe that we can help you do well in terms of piloting, doing your minimum viable product MVP development to show that you can, because you can do it alongside other people with all the right support, and then we can put in small money, because the truth is that nothing good comes without money. You have to be able to spend some money. So we're able to get a small fund to support serious ideas and serious entrepreneurs. So it takes two things to support, but you can have money and the entrepreneur is not serious minded because you just consider it as a side hustle. It's not the main of it. It doesn't matter how much you have, you won't succeed. But you can make it your main hustle, but you still don't have the money. No matter how hard you work, you still might not be able to survive. So you need the right mix of everything, the right person, the right funding, and then of course the right idea. And even sometimes, one thing I've realized is that even if the idea is not real, it's not good enough, maybe it's a bad timing. For example, one of the very popular explanations is Facebook. Facebook didn't do anything special that MySpace didn't do. It was exactly the same idea. The only difference is timing, right? So, but sometimes, as an entrepreneur, you can't succeed. I mean, Balami was saying it. Whatever he's doing is not the first one. So you can always. So if you get the lessons right, even if you fail at your first enterprise or first business, you will be able to build another product or build another business with the learning that will eventually succeed. So we can always do that. Okay, I think that's about it. So anyway, thank you very much for listening, and welcome again to Impact Hub. This is your community. Please, if you are coming next time, we'll definitely reach out to you. We'll meet as a collective, and then you can also bring someone that you think might be useful. It's also live. We had all the recording live on YouTube. So we made that so that people can still share after this event, because the knowledge that we're sharing, we believe is very necessary. It's not something that is just limited to a small group of people that is present here. So we can always find a way to. But we are here, we hire a community. Our job is to build entrepreneurs and help entrepreneurs within the Abuja metro area to deliver and solve the bigger problem within the country. We know that there's a lot of problems and also a lot of opportunities as well. So our role is to make that happen. And you can go to sleep knowing fully well that you might get the support you need to be able to scale or support your work. So thank you very much for showing up. And please like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram. Make sure they're doing that. So thank you very much. I think on that note, we have food, and you can take some time. Make sure you talk to 2 or 3 people if you have the time. So make sure, because the goal of we should have done we do this early anyways, but we can do it again. Make sure you're connecting, because the most important thing is that your next business partner, your next founder, your next idea can come from the person sitting right next to you. So some of us know each other, but I'm seeing a lot of faces that I'm seeing for the first time. So please, thank you and have a good evening.